Despite the enormous pressure from the broader markets to the downside, it comes to surprise that COSM is still maintaining its ground. Let's go ahead and go over the charts here because there could be an indication of a floor being found or near one. Welcome back to the channel. This is ARCa, and let's go over ticker symbol COSM. Let's kill them, team. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again on this Taco Tuesday. Let's go ahead and go over ticker symbol COSM, but first, let's go ahead and pair it with the E-mini Russell 2000 Index Futures contracts and the spot price action iShares ETF of the Russell 2000. Please notice right down here, team, that the pressure to the downside is absolutely real coming out of the futures contracts and out of the spot price ETF, right? So please notice that there is an immediate support grab coming up, particularly to the futures contracts. Let's see, 1,865 would have to do it. And man, on spot price and action itself, there could be a potential gap down here. It depends on how long it takes for the futures price action to reach down to that level there. But spot price action is indicating a 184.05, so still just another 2 points of a loss here. And there is still, this resistance line here that we were talking about the last time is still being respected, and it's very tough to get over. Okay, team. So now, what could happen actually once we face that support grab from that bottom side of the SMA 200? Well, we're gonna have to go ahead and evaluate that because it seems as though the spot price action here has kind of been even the futures contracts, right? It's been stuck within a consolidation area. It is quite large, and it does show a nice opportunity for potential gains, but we still, it would be nice for us to finally just combat that. So now pairing that with COSM and seeing that the broader markets are still showing some bleeding here. If COSM if COSM gets that read, then we could face some bottom side targets here too, right? So first of all, notice that on the 12-hour time frame, we have printed a bearish engulfing candle iteration there, and that could pressure the price action down to these levels here, right? So we can actually pair it right with this support down here, 114 to the tweezer bottom right over here, and also the triangle bottom of around 115 to 114. Okay, of course, price action can still fail and continue further to the downside, but we have to evaluate what's before us immediately before we can actually make those enormous guesses, right? Otherwise, it'd just be a huge assumption and not even mathematically backed. So let's go ahead and move on to the next chart and see what we have in store for COSM, right? So I was actually in the hunt here for a potential manipulation signal. And the manipulation signals within this asset are actually particularly to this. Within every asset. This is the ARCa composure algorithm that we just released, and this tells you when there's manipulation on the market. And we have used it several times before, right? To identify areas of manipulation with that yellow X, right? So notice here that there was another iteration here. Price action dumped, and then it recovered. Right, so here was another situation here where it dumped and then it recovered, right? So, it's just I was looking for it here on the odd time frames. What I mean by odd is it's actually not by the number. It's actually just by the time frames that not many people use for trading. In this case, I'm using the 4-minute the 4-minute time frame, which we have noticed some signs of manipulation, not within this asset in particular, but from other assets. But I have checked it. I have looked at the minute candles, the buy minute, 3-minute, 4-minute, 5-minute. I've gone up to the 10-minute, 15-minute, and 30-minute. As far as the hourly, and I am not noticing any sign of manipulation here, but I assume that was already completed with all of this happening here. Huge manipulation candle to the downside, and then a manipulation candle to recover and consolidate, right? So very, very interesting here. Okay, so so as far as that, there's definitely no immediate danger as far as the consolidate. I'm sorry, as far as capitulation, right? So what I would say here though is that there has been a shift over the range that we're trading. So now the shift is actually naturally right at this resistance zone here. And I know that it's currently at support right here, but remember, like I said, right, there could be a touch of the 114 to 115. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave it like this here as the range now that we could be barcoding in, right? Just like this, right in here, right? So if that's the case, then yeah, I guess we're just going to have to observe price action in the coming days and see what the deal is here too, right? So what I could also say here is that while we are facing this slow decline, there is also a decline in volume, right? So as long as we do have a decline in volume with declining price, that would in all essence signal that there is a loss of interest for the bear side. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and take a look at the DBSI indicator. So far, 4-minute time frame indicating that the bears are at absolute strength. Let's go ahead and take a look at this in larger time frames, though. So here's where it becomes a little more relevant. 30-minute time frame, bulls leading the way at 62%, with the bears at 38%. And what this is telling us, or how this is measured, by the DBSI. This is another one out of the release that we did for the ARQ algos, right? So what we tend to how we are able to determine this is based on the algorithm marks off or takes into account however many candles upside of the EMA 13 versus the candles printed below the EMA 13 throughout whatever time frame it figures to be appropriate. And it gives you that stat right up here, right? So that's how it determines that strength, and that's how it determines the display, right? So now the X's that you're noticing down here, that is consolidation, and usually the X's present themselves before a move to the upside or to the downside. And the last time we actually got a long signal was actually printed right over here, right? So that did lead to a potential opportunity here that led to, let's see. So the opening of this candle right down here, yeah, it led to an opportunity of around 3.18%, but nothing for absolute strength here, right? So as long as we are within this range here, it's just kind of a trap. But let's go ahead and continue the analysis here and see what other edge we can pull out from the asset, right? So remember that we were talking about a potential ascending triangle, right? In the 8-hour time frame. I think it may have been in the 4-hour even still, right? But we expressed the dangers of breaking down, and then this would be the first target to look at upon a breakdown. And it's actually 111 to 108. Now, I would say that there's nothing in the price action that would suggest that that absolute downside, but just please remember that this is based out of a breakout and psychological price objective. The lowest point that this can actually go to based on the triangle's top side, that would be indicative of support right at about 97.55. I'm not sure that we're going to get that still, but it's still a possibility. Let's go ahead and just always, let's make sure not to ignore our signals, right? So now moving on to the last part of the analysis, this is going to be the RSI. Please notice that the 30-minute time frame still suggesting a downside here right below that SMA 14. Same situation here on the bi-hourly time frame. Same situation on the 4-hour and on the 8-hour. But as you notice here, the 12-hour time frame, it's actually at support from the SMA 14 on the gravitational area of the bear strength percentile. This is likely to face a very short-term bounce to the upside. It's going to create the daily time frame to actually move on a little higher here before eventually finding resistance from that SMA 14. Same situation here on the 3-day time frame. We would actually get the upside here, face the resistance from not only the SMA 14, but from the gravitational zone of the bear strength percentile, and then face another downside and bounce from the gravitational zone, just like it's been doing here. So basically what I'm saying here in short and very understandable words is consolidation, and still some sideways trading to be observed here. As long as we are still within the realm of no catalysts announced from the company itself, then yeah, I'm afraid that the asset could be subject to facing some sideways trading. But know for a fact that you can always ask me any questions, and I will be more than happy to answer as they come in. Okay, team. But yeah, please take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. Okay, team. I need you to do your own due diligence, and everything would be absolutely cool. But with that said, I wish you well a very, very good night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios, team.